Good afternoon. Afternoon, everybody. Hope you're well. Making sure I'm coming through okay. Everybody? Yep. Happy Friday. It is the weekend. Well, almost. I don't know about you guys, but I am going out for a couple of beers after this. I've been healthy all week, eating well, and yeah, I'm going to go enjoy myself this afternoon. So, anyway. Before that, let's talk about the market, shall we? And before we get into that, thank you to everybody who's subbed to the channel recently. I seem to be getting quite a few more every time I stream, which is great. I am currently in the process of editing a new YouTube video, like a day in the life video, which I'm putting a lot of effort into this editing, actually. So hopefully you guys will like it. It should be up next week. And also, before I go on, next week, this time next Friday, we'll be announcing our second winner of the $50,000 FTMO Trading Account Challenge. So on RTFX, links are down below. Every month we give away one $50,000 trading account challenge to a member that I feel deserves it, and is showing improvement in their trading and looking to take their trading to the next level. So we'll be that next Friday. If you're interested, the links are down below. And there we go, business stuff out of the way. Let's get into the markets. So SPX is pushing on. We know that now. From this decent drop, it's recovered very well, right? The SPX is very resilient right now. Even though I didn't want this to happen, I didn't want this to happen. We have to go with what we're seeing now. And I've kind of got to change my bias and stop being married to the position that this needs a deeper corrective. So we're approaching all-time highs. I think today we get to all-time highs for sure, but with the extent of this rise, I think we possibly could get a reaction here. As we got a reaction before, I think we possibly could get a reaction around these all-time highs, possibly a corrective back to here, but we have to wait and see. The momentum is to the upside. The ECB came out recently, was quite dovish, which is good for the markets. The markets seem to like it. And, the thing is, I wouldn't discount this continuing to push on. I really wouldn't. But, if you're trading intraday, certainly with how the market is on this 4 hour, with this massive kind of move to the upside, just watch on those smaller time frames what happens at this level, basically, because you could get a slight reaction, you could get a slight pullback. So if you're buying those strong currencies now, or you're have currencies against the yen, against the Swiss, you may possibly see a little bit sign of strength coming into them during this pullback. So just be aware. But you've got to go. It's still, I put neutral slight risk on. I can't speak today. Slight risk on, because obviously we're pushed up now, and I do think we get through. I do think we burst through all-time highs. It'll be interesting to see what that means to the currency market, whether we get that flow, whether we get that fluidity. It's waiting to be seen. So possibly today, because it is a Friday, you might get a reaction, but again, look at those smaller time frames to get that confirmation of what the market wants to do. Parsa, how you doing, pal? Good to see you. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it as always. Okay, the dollar. So the dollar, I'm not sure if I talked about this on Wednesday. I can't remember if I was on the stream or if I was doing a website stream. But I did say watch on this fall roughly around this area, because we've had this structure in place for quite some time, right? This wedging structure in place for quite some time. The daily bar is good. The daily bar is bullish. There's no doubt about it. It's a hammer there. And again, I will stick with my Friday. I've just said Friday because you said happy Friday there. Ahmed, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. I'll stick with my bias that, dollar strength continues up to this area. So I think for today, you expect some dollar strength to come in because of this daily bar, because of this 4 hour bar. And certainly if we break through this 20 period on the 4 hour, then you could say, yeah, continue dollar to the upside. Lam, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to everybody. What's all your weekend plans? I am, as I said, I'm going for a beer after this. and going to put on all the weight that I've lost this week. Anyway, so yeah, I think if we push through here in the dollar, expecting continued dollar strength, even though those stocks are pushing, I would expect dollar strength. It looks quite good on those smaller time frames. Okay, I'll go into, so I've just put a trade on actually, just this morning on this JP225. Context is good. So you see the context here, push through that 200, creating similar, not as quite as extensive as the SPX, but good bullish momentum here on the daily chart. 4 hour, we've crossed this 50 and retested this 50. 20 period is starting to curl up. Obviously, the momentum is to the upside, right? So that is all good in terms of context. My setup came on this 30-minute chart. So we've got our push through, our head and shoulders, nice little reload, back to that 20, push on, and we've got our ABC, favorite ABC retest, with this engulfing candle as our catalyst on a bit more volume, which is good. That's what we like to see. So it's a clean setup, going with the trend, going with momentum, stops under the previous swing, playing that up to roughly around this level. This is 1-to-1 to take 50% off. If I was watching this, because this is a challenge. Rohan, how you doing? Good to see you, mate. Because this is a challenge, if I was in the markets today, which I'm not going to be this afternoon, I'd probably take this out and let it run, but put my TP there at 1-to-1 and happily take that to the upside. You know, crossed over this 200. That engulfer was roughly around that 200. Stocks are pushing. So, you know, I like that trade. And it's a nice setup. So if we look at this pullback, right, there's nothing there that is really sticking out as massively negative, is there? Very small bars, very small volume, with an uptick on volume on that bullish engulfer. So that for me is a nice trade on that 20 period. I like that. And, you know, maybe this is a bad thing to say, but you have to be confident in everything. I have a good feeling about the two positions I'm in. So I have a good feeling about this. I like this trade. You know, I'm due a winner for sure. I mean, that's for damn sure. But I do like that trade on the 225 long. And again, we're only looking for a little bit there to get 1-to-1. If I do move that stop to the swing immediately, which is good. If I get a push through and a little corrective here, then fine, you can move your stop up to break even and then continue moving that stop to the swings and hopefully capturing more profits. So remember, with these trades, with my trade management, you know, we're really looking, we get kind of 1 to 1.5 R most of the time, but there's those trades that really run and run and run and run, and you never know which they are until they actually go. So letting that trade run is very important. I'm not saying this is going to go and go and go. Obviously, I'm not saying that. But, you know, being patient and not thinking like, oh, I've lost 3 or 4 trades before, and I'm going to take this, maybe this is at 3R, I'm going to take my profits back, and then, you know, this one trade that ends up being like a 5 or 6R trade. That's where you get annoyed with yourself. So sticking with your strategy and letting your winners run if they go. This is obviously not confirmed yet, but if they go is very important. So paying yourself, taking a portion off, and then letting that baby run as long as it wants to go. I'm also in this USD check. So USD check is now looking nice. So we have this, obviously you know the context, I've talked about this before on my previous stream. Cut with handle, 2 bars here, push through, steady state retest, engulfing bar on volume. And we did have a drop down yesterday, but look, again, this is the importance of waiting for that daily to close on a daily chart trade. Nice hammer bar here, rejecting that 200. 20 period is now getting close to price action. This is nice. And what I also noticed, right, when I was doing my workshop this morning, so I do a Friday morning workshop, and I was doing on the ABC pattern, a deeper look into the ABC pattern. Now look at this, right? I think you remember me talking about impulse, loss of momentum, harder reset. Okay, so here we've had a push through. So we've had our impulse, right? And this is in USD check. We're now getting our loss of momentum. Now that loss of momentum specifically, right, if we dive into it here, you can see lots of pushes from buyers with essentially very little result, right? Very little result. So kind of choppy price action. That for me is loss of momentum. After this loss of momentum has occurred, what have we got? We've got a hard reset, and the hard reset comes in the form of my favorite ABC, right? On high volume around this area here. So that's good. I didn't notice that until I was diving deeper into it this morning. I like this context. I like that. And this is, I kind of go into it. I was talking about this ABC and how the safe entry or a safer entry is the break of this B wave. But only if the break is a healthy break. So we can see how price action has motored up here, right? And look what's happened, right? We've broken through. Because this is not a healthy break, we've broken through, maybe trapped in some buyers here, and then come down. So a break of B wave, again, we're looking for the same thing we want. A push up, a corrective, kind of similar to what we're getting now. A healthy break of B wave is what I like to see. So if this currency pair, and it's been knocking on the door a few times, can break and close above this area, that would be a good sign for me that this continues to the upside. So again, I'll go back into that because I think it's quite important, right? And we see it, and I'll show you this as well. I'll show you where it does work on the SPX a little bit of time ago. So if we scroll back here, look at this. Impulse, loss of momentum, harder reset. A, B, C. Where's the volume coming in? Volume's coming in here, isn't it? On our catalyst. And look what happened to the SPX here. Right, so this is something that is really powerful. Right, really powerful. And, if you want to take some screenshots of that, good context, specifically really for this SPX, because I've seen it happen a few times. And that's maybe why my bias is I wanted that harder reset. Loss of momentum, harder reset, because I know that propels that market. Markets have a memory. It happens time and time again. So with this USD check, now even on the 4 hour, you can kind of see it there, right? Even on the 4 hour here, we've got our ABC, right? Our basing cut pattern, slight fake, okay? Wasn't ready to go. We thought that. Harder ABC, morning star here on volume, push on, reload. If this does break through, this looks really good, and if this wasn't here, right, if these wicks were not here, this would be so clean for a break, right? It would be a great kind of thing to add to your playbook, because that, for me personally, as a breakout, is perfect. I'm not saying it's going to be a winner, but that's kind of exactly what I like. Loves breaks of B wave. And the reason why I do, right, if you consider an ABC, the reason why I like it is, so ABC. If you know Dow theory, so Dow theory states there's a primary trend, right? There's a secondary trend, and then there's a tertiary trend. So a tertiary trend is your volatility within that secondary trend. What retail traders do, and wrongly so, if this is coming up from this area, is identify this as a lower high, okay? So they wrongly identify this as a lower high rather than a tertiary trend within the secondary trend. Does that make sense? Are people following me there? So they've got sellers coming in at B wave saying, okay, we've created a lower high. We're now changing trend from this uptrend to a downtrend incorrectly, because they're not taking into account this primary trend. And they're not taking into account that this is a tertiary trend within the secondary trend. Yeah? Okay, so, and also, what do you think about is, at this B wave, where are these stops going to be? Right? The stops are going to be above here. Okay? Now, also, with our correctives, I'm kind of going to ABC here, but with our correctives, okay, you get single leg correctives, okay? You get multi-leg correctives like the ABC, or also you can get, you know, a complex corrective, you know, a flag or a channel, etc. So what am I trying to say? These buyers here that are anticipating this to be a single leg corrective are at this point getting a bit worried, right? Again, you talk about the psychology. They're getting a bit worried at this section because they're saying, oh shit, we've not breached two highs. When this starts to happen, panic sets in. They're kind of trapped in their long positions. Obviously, their stops are underneath as well. So they start exiting, they get stopped out, and then the movement starts to occur. Right? Does that make sense? So we've got these buyers getting trapped long, and once this starts to move up from C wave, like we've seen in all these contexts, these sellers at B wave, once this starts to move up, are now becoming worried. Okay, because they're saying, right, we've established a lower high here, a lower high here. Right, so this should be changing trend, but this starts to move up. They're now getting scared. They're panicked. They're trapped in their short positions. Their stops above here, which is why B wave for me is quite key, because you see stops taken out. You see those sellers getting panicked, exiting out positions, and sometimes you see that decent move to the upside. So for me, the ABC is a great pattern. And added into that, okay, so this is the last thing I'll kind of go into this ABC. These single leg pullbacks within these ABCs, right? If you put a simple Fibonacci, so say you've come up from here and had a corrective, let's say that's a healthy corrective. You take your Fibonacci from the impulse to the high, right? That original impulse to the high, your Fib here. The likelihood is, and this is why I talk about healthy trends and digesting moves, is this single leg pullback is probably not even touched that 40-60 box. Which is why I say when I come on stream, it's not really enough for me yet. You know, if you have a big trend like this, you're not going to take a corrective like that. So, you know, you have your complex corrective back to that 40-60 box. Again, make it healthy, and off we go to the upside. So that's the ABC, and that's kind of why I like it. So yeah, anyway, this looks good is what I'm saying. I mean, this essentially looks really good to me. If we can get a break and close above here, then for me, that looks quite nice. For me, that looks quite nice indeed. And I think that Nikkei is pushing on a little bit. Yeah, pushing on a little bit. So what have I got on my watch list today? I don't think I've got much, to be honest with you. I've only got USD ZAR. If there's anything you want me to look at, let me know, and I'll do it. So USD ZAR, again, what I just talk about in terms of trend, or in terms of context, really, this was not enough. 20 period, not close by. If we get a breakout and retest, I'll potentially take that to the upside. But this is kind of gone for me now. And I'm quite happy with the positions I'm in. You know, I'm not going to be in the markets this afternoon. I'm happy having the two positions I'm on right now, to be honest. But one thing, hold on, I'll also add to this, right? So this is kind of an ABC rather than a live Forex trading, but I think it's important. So with the ABC, okay, there's a few entries you can take, and there's a few things you can also add in. So this is why I have the 20 period, right? You have that 20 period correcting roughly around that C wave is also a good sign, because you see these healthy trends roughly correct around that 20 period. Whereas with your single leg, your 20 period is down there, right? So for me, getting into trend continuation when there's extension here between the 20 period and the corrective, right, says again to me that it needs a bit more. Okay, adding on to that, at C wave, if you're taking an entry at C wave, you know, let's say, for example, you've got your catalyst, which is a hammer candle, right? This is, for me, this is my favorite type of context. You've got your ABC, you've got your 20 period, and specifically your 20 period, not touching it, but going through it and rejecting that 20 period. So what I mean is, if you had a hammer candle like this, I don't, even though that's still valid, I don't like that as much as here. Okay, and if that comes on high volume, you know, my eyes light up because of that. Now, that is the probably most aggressive entry for your ABC. Like I said, the most safest option is your break of B wave, but not breaks of B wave like this. It's your break of B wave that is healthy. Breaks of B wave like that. You can take an entry, as a potential trend line break, you can take that entry. That's fine as well. But, you know, for me personally, I like getting in at C wave. Certainly if it coincides with the resistance zone, let's say you're taking a breakout retest, if it coincides with that 20 period, if it coincides with high volume, right, then you've got your number one, you've got your ABC. Number two, you've got your catalyst, whether it be a hammer and golfer. You've got your 20 period. Number four, you've got your volume. And number five, you've got your breakout retest, which is old support potentially becoming new resistance. And the reason why I like volume and why I think volume is so key is because we as retail traders, we want to know where the big boys are putting their money. We want to know where institutions are going, right? And the only way that I feel we know that is through the use of volume. So volume for us as retail traders, we can all sit in a room, we're not going to move the market. Those big boys move the market. And the best way that I can find is using this indicator to let me know when they're getting involved, you know, in a trend. There was something else I was going to add on to that, but it's kind of gone out of my head. Tian, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Oh yeah, so also with this volume, it is important to note that it's not directly from the exchange, right? It's from your broker. So it might not entirely be accurate, but it's actually the best we've got. So it's good enough. So it's a little bit of trivia there for you if somebody asks you. Volume is not directly from the exchange, but it's from your broker. So that's, I've kind of gone into the ABC there, but I do think it's a great pattern to use for, certainly for trend continuation. I was going to add something onto it. One second, guys. I wrote it down this morning when I was doing my, what was I doing? I was doing something and I wrote it all down this morning. No, it's gone. I think it's gone. I appreciate that, Alam. Yeah, I thank you. I do. I mean, I love it. I love it. So, USD, Ahmed, can you do USD Singapore dollar? I don't have USD Singapore dollar, but I can get it on TradingView. If you've got any questions on the ABC, let me know. Let's get USD Singapore dollar here. Oop. How's everybody's trading going anyway? Are we making money? Are we not making money? USD Singapore dollar daily chart. Well, initially right off the bat, Ahmed, you're thinking possible pullback, and wow, 12.5%. Well done, mate. That's amazing in 1 week. Well done. Excellent. 12.5%. Well done. Yeah, Ahmed, so look at this. Right, initially off the bat, look at this climactic move. Okay, so you've kind of got your kind of wedge here. But notice that, first off, this isn't very healthy, right? There's no doubt that this isn't healthy. I mean, theory dictates that should come to the downside, right, with your rising wedge. But look at that climactic move. Now that is, not very good price action, I have to say. If we drill down, it'll be interesting to see if volume, look at volume coming in at the top of that structure, kind of at the top of that climactic, right? So again, another use of volume is, if you get those climactic moves, kind of like you saw on USD Singapore dollar, right? If you see volume coming here at the top of the structure, which is kind of the ethos of my breakout trade on the euro, right? Be a little bit wary. So for me, USD Singapore dollar, you probably expect a little bit of bearishness to come in. In saying that, we're expecting dollar strength. But against the Singapore dollar, it's slightly a different currency. Decent 4-hour bar here. I mean, Ahmed, to be honest with you, I'd be sitting on the fence with that. It's not something I would be trading. I think there's better pairs out there to trade. That 4-hour looks good. The daily looks bearish. I don't like the daily price action just because of, what we're getting here. And you're kind of, possibly at the end of the road with these double hammers. But, US dollar strong. US dollar strong. I don't know which direction you're playing it. But for me, I think there's better trades out there, to be honest with you. That's my opinion. So how many trades did you do that on, Tian? Did you have multiple trades where you win a few, or did you have one big one? Pound Aussie. Okay, I'll do Pound Aussie. I actually liked Pound Aussie the other day. You're long. I mean, see, for me, Ahmed, like, it doesn't look great, but I can see why you're long if you're long on that 4 hour. I just think there's better things to trade, to be honest with you, today. Pound Aussie. Yeah, Pound Aussie has been faking quite a lot. Well, I say faking, it's not actually breached this area yet. You asked me that? Lamb. So, you know, 4 hour looks bearish. My bias on the daily is still long. The daily chart still looks good. But intraday, you could see a pullback there, I think, Lamb, to be honest with you. Did it fake out? But it didn't fake out, right? If it didn't fake out yet, Lamb, because it's not actually broken that area. 3 days, 9 trades, just remain in my favor. Well done, Tian. Good man. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. So, yeah, Lamb, I would expect a little bit of bearishness, I'd say, out the Pound Aussie, to be honest. But don't discount. I mean, this is where this market is difficult, right? But don't discount this. This could, you know, do what like it's done before, and come up and give you your V reversal. I still like it. Like I said, on this daily chart, looks great. You know, this daily chart, the momentum is to the upside, but you could get some short-term bearishness, to be honest with you. I think I see my profits going up. I have a good feeling about today, to be honest, guys. I have a good feeling. So I think the USD check is moving. Mostly 2 hour trades. I've never used a 2 hour chart, you know. I know I'm a little bit off it with the 30 minute. I don't think a lot of people use the 30 minute, but I've never used that 2 hour time frame. God, it's annoying me about that ABC. There was something I was gonna say, but it's just, you know, when it just completely goes out your head. Because there was another point I wanted to add in for that ABC, but I've just completely forgot it, to be honest with you. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. If there's nothing, I'm going off to have a beer and enjoy my Friday. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Again, thank you to everybody who's subbed to the channel. I think I've got about 20 subs this week, which is brilliant. Very happy with that indeed. And yeah, do you know what? I have a good feeling about today. And manifesting some money. So I've got about, I mean, this is my challenge. So I've got about $12,000 on the line here. So let's hope it's all good. All right, guys. I don't know if any, it's the rugby this weekend. I don't know if there's any rugby fans, right? I think Tian, you're a rugby fan. Anyway, guys, yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming. Enjoy the weekend all. Trade safe. Peace.